Welcome to Cocktail Hour. I'm Andy.
And I'm the Rev.
Today's show is brought to you by the Bleached Blonde.
The Bleached Blonde.
Yep. It's actually very tasty, but again, it's light, crisp, and really not a winter drink.
You know, it's a little too sweet for me.
Listeners, you're asking, how do you make the Bleached Blonde? It is, we use a highball glass, 1.5 ounces of vodka or citrus vodka, 1/2 ounce of triple sec, and then ice, and fill the rest with lemon lime soda. Easy.
Yeah, and I mean it's a nice looking drink. I think next time I'll invest in a better soda because I've had it out for a little while now, and already the carbonation's gone. But we don't drink soda in the house, so I wasn't gonna get a 2-liter bottle, so I just got some cheap crappy cans, and well, there you go. But yeah, it was a little sweet for me. Might have been the triple sec. Maybe next time I would just try a little bit less of that, and maybe try a citrus vodka instead of just the plain.
Sure, give it a try. But there's lots of other recipes that we're going to try, so I wouldn't push too hard on something that you're wild about anyway.
Yeah, and I'm still very much hooked on the gin and tonic. My wife made this for me, and she's been tasting each one that she makes, and she deemed this one shitty. She's hard to please when it comes to drinks, but she did say that the Sea Breeze was her favorite.
Well, I wonder if she would like that slow divine screw, as I call it. That was a very, very good drink.
I don't know. She's I don't know. She's hard. It's hard to say. She's not much for hard alcohol. She's much more a really good beer kind of girl.
Well, everybody has their taste.
Oh, we should mention that right off the bat. We've had some serious developments since our last show.
Okay, let's mention them.
Okay, so we have officially moved from the blog spot. We now have our own site. It is cocktailhour.c-spot.net, and that's where all of our Cocktail Hour episodes are. There's a nice player that you can listen to directly on the site. It's much faster and cleaner than our old site, than the blog spot. It's pretty plain right now. If you have some suggestions of other things you'd like to see, let us know. We also have a discussion board that it's slow going, but we've had some interesting conversations there, and Andy's vulgar icon.
Hey, vulgar icon! Come on now.
Although I did hide it when my kid was trying to look at it. We got the recipe for the drink off the forum because I knew it was there.
Oh, that's just wrong.
My kid's standing there, so I had to kind of expand it a little bit so that part was hidden.
Oh, man.
But so we've got the forum, and that address is www.cocktailhour.c-spot.net/forum. And the other big news, the biggest news, is that we are finally on iTunes. I know, Jesus, it took forever. But there is something different in the settings for our new site, and everything just worked out very nicely. So if you do a search in the podcast section of iTunes for Cocktail Hour, last I checked, we were the first on the list for both podcast and most popular for the Cocktail Hour title.
Excellent.
So there you go. So a few more ways to listen and participate.
Yep. And just for our listeners, when you go on Cocktail Hour at cspot.net, there is a link closer to like the middle of the page on the far right-hand side that'll link you to the forum. So you don't actually have to worry about, having another website to remember.
And you can also, directly from C-Spot, you can go directly to the show on iTunes and subscribe there, or, whatever you want to do with it.
Yep. It's very convenient. I like it because I'm a
It
plug and
is.
play kind of girl, and if it's too complicated, I give up. So if I could navigate this thing, anybody can do it. So yay! Thank you, Rev, for for setting it up so well.
It was my pleasure.
There is an auction being held for Nene Adams, and all proceeds are going to Nene. She had a very, very severe infection. She's in the hospital for a month. She lost her foot. And the community has been asked to help her out and bid on some items that other authors have generously provided. And you can find it at djordanredhawk.net. And Nene Adams.
Put a link on the. I'm sorry. We can put a link directly on the Cocktail Hour site.
Okay.
Also.
Good. Nene Adams was also known as Bardwin, I believe, and she wrote some incredible stories. And I think she was like one of the first bards out there in the Xenoverse. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember reading several of her stories and really, really, really enjoying them.
So if you're interested, check out the stuff. I believe the auction is going on until the 14th. I believe that is the date. And there's some really good stuff out there. I saw a message from KG McGregor. She's got an autographed set of the Anna and Lily books, the Shaken series. She's got an autographed set of those that she will pay the shipping for. She said she'd do it next day, so you'd have it in plenty of time for Christmas if you know somebody who's a big fan. And just go check out the stuff. I've heard there's lots of good things out there.
Yep, and if you don't want to bid, you can make a direct donation, and that's what I did actually. I just wrote a check and sent it to Red Hawk. And if you need that information, just send Red Hawk an email, and she'll give you the P.O. Box. I mean, I remember it's P.O. Box 9001, Portland, Oregon, but I can't remember the zip code.
Yeah, we'll have the link, and there's also a PayPal account set up too. So if you don't want to write a check, you just want to make a donation through PayPal, they have all of that set up too. So we'll get the information on in the show notes. And you can follow the links and get whatever information that you need to participate. So
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
All right, Andy. So what's on the slab today? What do we got?
We've got Life's Little Edge by Roselle Graskey and Mephisto Aria by Justine Saracen.
All right.
Yep. And since you're so fabulous at recapping the stories, that's like what you do now. You know what I mean? I don't even try to compete anymore.
Excellent.
So, yeah. All right. So how about we start discussing Life's Little Edge? You want to give us a summary there, Rev?
I will give you a summary. It will be brief. The main character, Kalan O'Malley, which I'm glad the author kind of put a little blurb in there about how her name was pronounced. Otherwise, I would have been calling Callan.
Yeah.
So Kalan O'Malley is, from what we can tell, an ex-con biker gun runner who is dealing with a biker gang. She's not a member of the gang, but she does business with the head of the gang, Spider. The book opens up with, I believe, with Kalan at a poker game and in a bar that a friend of hers owns called Traders, and she wins a woman in a hand, and then a game of one punch, which I also found interesting. So she wins this woman named Terry Barkley, and it's just what it sounds like. She now belongs to O'Malley. And what we find is that O'Malley is really a damaged person. She's an Iraq vet from the first Iraq War. She has lost the love of her life, and she's very angry and dangerous, really. So we learn a lot about Kalan pretty quickly, and then we add to that Terry and some secondary characters, which are pretty good. It was essentially a mystery. You don't really know what's going to happen as far as is O'Malley a good guy or a bad guy or something in between? How does Terry fit into all of this? But then we do find out pretty quickly that Terry is not what she seems.
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. It's a really shitty.
No, actually, it was better than I would. So, I mean, better than I would do. So, hey, that was good. I really enjoy. I mean, I didn't think I would like it because I'm not all up into the ex-military. I'm not all up into the biker community. But Roselle really made those characters pop. I mean, you just it was a page turner. You know, it's one of those, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? I mean, there were a few places that kind of just semi-dragged a little bit. But, I mean, you know, it wasn't a lot. So I was really happy. I really enjoyed the O'Malley character. And I thought it was kind of crappy toward the end when she got her ass kicked at that party. Because they all knew that Spider and his Bobos, and what was Terry's ex-boyfriend's name that lost her? Trey. I mean, they knew Trey was going to have his dumbasses come after her, and yet she still got her ass kicked for a while.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that either. We may as well just go on ahead because I mean, it does happen pretty quickly that we find out what Terry's real deal is, right? I mean, I don't think that we would be giving too much away. Do you?
No.
Okay, so Terry is an undercover cop. And she's been brought in to infiltrate this biker gang, and because I think she was they were looking more for drugs, weren't they, than for guns?
I think it was guns, and well, drugs could have been in it too. I don't remember specifically, but I do remember guns was an issue.
Yeah, later on, I think we find out more about the drug aspect. But so essentially, there's a lot of betrayal going on and perceived betrayal. And I really thought that the story was tight and well written. The characters, they felt very real. There were some that, there were some like the probation officer. I was kind of sketchy with that, but O'Malley has this group that she works with that are primarily the soldiers that she was in Iraq with or in other areas with, and they were all very tight. And part of the big mystery is finding out, for us, is finding out how O'Malley's girlfriend who died, how that happened, and that kind of unfolds kind of slowly as we go. There were some flashback scenes that I started thinking that I could imagine you almost.
Hello, that was the drag part.
Yeah.
Yeah, her name was Ellen, right?
Yeah, Ellen Rivers,
mm-hmm.
And I thought that a lot of the flashbacky things about Ellen could have been completely left out and done maybe in more of a reminiscent kind of discussion way with the other characters, since there's this large group of characters all focused around O'Malley that all knew her. Excuse me, that all knew Ellen and O'Malley, and how they were together. And I think that instead of some of those flashbacks, those discussions could have happened there. Now, I do want to point out that Roselle's partner is one of the members of the forum, and she said that the book is much tighter. And that a lot of the issues in the online version had been fixed, and so, in her opinion, she said it's a much better book. So as soon as PD comes out with ebooks, I'll be sure to pick that up because I'd be very interested to read it in a tighter format.
Yeah, me too, actually.
So, maybe once PD does that, we can pick up a couple copies and do maybe a small recap on that. And Roselle, if you enjoy Roselle's work, she does have another book called October Echoes that I have not read.
Well,
so
is that one in ebook form yet?
No. Those are all, no.
Well, maybe what we can do is, once it is, we can read the October Echoes and the ebook for redo of Life's Little Edge, and then just recap both of them.
Excellent. Also, listeners, if you've read both, drop us a line. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we like hearing from you, actually. Listeners, we like the feedback, and I gotta say, they've been pretty good about feedback. And so
Absolutely.
Now we can share with the group and go on the forum and get feedback.
Absolutely. One of the things that I was thinking about, if we do get any responses for the Bearded Clam Challenge or anything else that we do, we can go ahead and make a page for all of those on the website. Now that we have our own site, we have a lot more control over what we can and what we can do.
Cool.
So overall, I don't think I really had many notes that I made about this one. I gotta say, I made a note that Terry Barkley has some father issues and some dysfunctional family issues, and there's one point where her father calls and O'Malley answers her phone, and she says, and just for the record, the only person she calls daddy anymore is me. And I'll be honest with you, that always creeps me out.
Yeah, it's funny but creepy. It's like one of those, did I really laugh at that? It's one of those.
Yeah, calling anybody that I'm having sex with daddy just seems to bother me. And the other thing and maybe this got cut out in the book, but there's an undercover DEA agent, and I'm not going to give his name because, I'm already giving away that there's a DEA agent in there. But he has his DEA ID in his wallet with his real name on it. Did you catch that?
I did. That was a little far-fetched.
It's like, hello, you're dealing with drug runners and gun runners and
yeah.
And you've been undercover for years, and you just, wait, look at my wallet. Mm-hmm. Although I did want to try that hold that Cage did on him. I wanted to try that out just to see where she has him, like she said, 2.5 feet away from the wall and leans him back. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So try it on your shitty neighbor.
I try not to get that close. But maybe I'll have TJ try it on me. And I say that because there's no way in hell she would let me try it on her.
Yeah, so, I understand.
I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah, keep me posted.
Let me see. I had one other note. Oh, yeah, I had made a note. It says lots of flashbacks, my least favorite thing in this book, but at least they're mostly short, which is true. They were pretty short.
Yeah, they were.
So, but overall, very good read.
Yep.
If you want to go get the book, get the book. If you like it, or if you read it, let us know what you think about it. If you don't get the book, go read it online. It's very, very good. You can get it at PDA Fiction Compiled. You can get it. I think it's available a few other places also.
Yep. It was definitely worth the read.
Absolutely. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
And speaking of worth the read, now we're getting to something a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more. It's darker. Let's stick with darker. Go ahead. Let's talk about Mephisto Aria.
Okay, so Mephisto Aria follows. I can't remember her damn name. I finished it like 2 hours ago.
Well, you're talking about Katharine Amaro?
Yes, Maro.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So she is an opera singer who is a rising star. The night of her biggest accomplishment, she's gets the big ovation and gets pulled away and finds out that her father's committed suicide. So and that happens right away. So she's dealing with that. Meanwhile, she finds an old journal belonging to her father, and as she's reading through the journal, which goes throughout the book, she learns more and more about him, and I won't give a lot of that away. Shortly after his death, she's contacted to fill in for someone who's in a car accident, and through that opportunity, a bunch of intrigue kind of unfolds, and she meets another opera star who she has admired and was actually the last singer that her father was listening to right before he died. So in addition to the admiration that she feels toward this person, she also feels some kind of a connection in addition to that.
Mm-hmm.
The book itself is it's essentially two different stories. It's the story of Katharina and her personal awakenings and journey during this short period of time. And it's about her father, Sergei, who she comes to discover she didn't know anything about at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me was the best part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Was the historical. He was a soldier during World War II.
Yeah, and Stalingrad.
He starts out as a German soldier,
mm-hmm.
but not really a soldier, a surgeon. And after the Battle of Stalingrad is captured and given the opportunity to either essentially be a POW and go to a camp or work for the Russian army, for the Red Army.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let you go first to talk about this one because we can get into it in a minute, but I want you to go.
I loved this story, but of course I love everything that Justine has done. Her plots are very well thought out. They're always interesting. Her characters are always vibrant along with the story. Mephisto Aria is like an opera within an opera because she uses the idea of Faust and the selling your soul to the devil to get what you want as pretty much the overall theme to this book. And she did a delicious job with it. I mean, I could not put that book down. It was so good and rich, full of details. I mean, it was just amazing. People and history, but it wasn't like reading a history textbook. I mean, you read it and you found yourself so engaged that you were like in the story. It was absolutely wonderful. I really, really loved this story.
And I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum.
Oh, are you?
I am, and I don't have any familiarity with Faust or any operas at all, and I had such a hard time getting into it. Even the titles of the chapters, I don't know what any of that is. The historical aspect, the war aspects, I enjoyed that. I love history. None of the operas that were mentioned I really had ever heard of. So while I still enjoyed the story itself, I really felt like I missed out on a lot because I wasn't able to share that, you know, you have, and when you read something, if you have a common repertoire, you can connect better with the characters themselves. And I wasn't part of that. This world wasn't part of my repertoire,
No, I get it. I get it. I've only recently come to appreciate opera, and I think you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the only opera I had ever seen before was when we watched that American Idol version of opera. You know what I mean? That one night on PBS when we were watching that.
Yeah.
I do have to say that when they were talking about the Rosenkavalier, that I did go on YouTube and I pulled up a video of the trio that's mentioned heavily throughout, and it's beautiful. And I almost started to cry immediately just from, I'm very emotional when it comes to music. It's classical music, and now I'm guessing opera will move me to the point almost instantly to tears if that harmony was there, and it was just very beautiful. But even beside the opera part, which it was still good. I still enjoyed reading about the characters, and especially when Anastasia and Katharina are together in their character when they can't be together in real life. That was very moving, and I really enjoyed that. I kind of figured out right away who the bad guy was.
Oh yeah, it's kind of pretty. It's obvious. Yeah. But still, the journey though is good.
Well, I mean, once the final opera, the final job that she takes, once that's starting to get discussed, I mean, you get that ominous feeling like, oh, something's gonna happen here.
Yeah. You almost wonder why the character Katharina didn't pick up on it. Like it was like, wait, why didn't it ring some bells for her? You know what I mean?
But she even says that it does. Something just doesn't feel right about this.
But I mean, so that she didn't sign the contract, so that she didn't, bind herself to it.
Right, but then she says that her manager or her agent read through it. She must have felt it was okay. So I trust her. She's been doing good for me. He's been doing good for me. Okay, and how bad can it be? Sabine is in it. So she kind of
Sabine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That lends no credibility to the production.
No, but the stage director was also in it from the one that she had just done with Anastasia. So it wasn't. I can see, and she's also. She's on the move. This is her time. I can see why she did it. Bad idea. Yeah. Did she figure it was a bad idea? I think somewhere deep inside she did, but she wanted it badly enough that I don't think she listened to that voice.
Yeah, maybe I'm just coming at it because I know what the end result was.
Maybe, and I got to tell you, I wasn't prepared for what happened at the end. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, this is really bad. All those drunken Russian soldiers.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, my ass was puckering.
Yeah, it wasn't my ass that was puckering, but yeah. I mean, that was intense, and Justine did a great job of that for somebody like me who, honestly, I felt really lowbrow reading it. I felt like I just had no culture at all.
Oh, come on now.
Well, no, but I did because I'm thinking, okay, well, gosh, I think maybe I should know some of this stuff, and I didn't, and it was intimidating to me. And I also went into it with that thought too. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I went into it thinking I'm not going to understand half this shit, and I kind of talked myself into feeling out of my element immediately. The other thing that and I don't know if this was just me or not, but the language itself was stiff and really made me feel, made it feel like Eastern European. And I don't know if that was intentional or what, but the just the language that they use.
Yeah, well, it may have been because
that's where it was.
Yeah, maybe. But, that might have been the feeling she was trying to create.
I'd be interested to find out if that was intentional or if that was just. I mean, I don't know. Did you feel like that too?
No.
No. Okay. The dialogue felt more stiff, and it was reminiscent of like films that I've seen that are set in Russia or Germany or one of the Eastern Bloc countries. More of the I don't know, just stoic and stiff and formal, not very gushy and. But this really wasn't a romance novel either.
No, it wasn't.
I come to that.
I would still recommend it though. You're right. It's a little highbrow, but I think it's a great entry for anybody that even has an inkling to try out or get involved in opera.
It's definitely piqued my interest. I spent probably an hour online today because I was watching the clock because I knew I was running late with this and I wanted to finish it and not rush through it either. I didn't want to skim stuff but I spent about an hour online today watching different clips and trying to find where I can get. Because I was able to understand some of the language. I think because I've taken a lot of Spanish and a lot of the Romance languages are very similar. So a lot of the Italian I was able to figure out what they were saying, but German, a lot of the German, I missed out on a lot of that. I missed out on a lot of the dialogue and the lyrics and things like that. That was tough for me because I like to know. I suppose I could have looked it all up, but there was just so much of it that I just let it go.
Yeah, I didn't look any of it up either, and trust me, I have a hard time with English, much less any other languages. I know a rudimentary amount of French, and that's about as. And cursing in Italian, I've got down. But yeah, you're right. There was a lot of foreign language in that one. And fortunately, I have a translator that's pretty easy to operate, but I didn't use it. I was like, I get the gist of what's happening by either how they explain it or the internal thoughts that would occur. So I just kind of moved along with it. I mean, if I wanted to, I could have deciphered it all, but I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. And after reading just a bit of it, you get the idea of Faust and what's going on. So I don't want to deter anybody. And like I said, I went into it with some preconceived notions of how I was going to enjoy it, and I still did enjoy it very much. I did, but I probably wouldn't have finished it if we weren't doing it for the show.
Oh, you're kidding! You would not have finished it?
No, it took me a very long time to get into it. I was almost halfway done with it before I felt like I was into it, like the story was carrying me along.
Oh, wow.
Before that, it was kind of a struggle for me to get into.
Wow. Well, I hadn't read it before we decided to do it for the show, so it's not like I could have warned you.
No, and it's good. And I like this. This is, I think, the first one that we've really felt completely, well, not completely different. We both enjoyed it, but the levels of enjoyment. I think this one is probably the first one that we've been this far apart on.
Yeah.
So, still a good story. Still kind of creeped me out. Well, it still did creep me out quite a bit.
Well, there was some pretty creepy stuff going on.
There was. I mean, and I'm still having a hard time getting over some of that. I think there was one thing that either I missed it or the author did. Actually, there were two things, because I read like a beta, and I can't help it. In the internal dialogue of the bad guy, we're not going to name him, the internal dialogue of the bad guy is how we knew that he had tried to get an introduction through the father.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that we knew that. However, it later comes up from Anastasia saying, well, that must be why he did yada yada, because your father wouldn't introduce him. Well, how the hell does she know anything about that?
It wasn't in the father's diary or the journal?
The father's diary was from years and years previously. The only thing that the father had written before 1960 something was "Forgive me, what is it, Flavion?"
Yeah, Flavian. I forget his name. Yeah,
that was the only thing that he had written. So there is no way that she could have known that.
Huh? I didn't catch that. That's really cool.
And then the other thing that I caught was when they were crossing the border, and the guard says, "It's 4:00 in the morning. I'm freezing." And then when they drive up to cross the border, he says, "Oh, it's almost 2:30."
Oh, I missed that too. Damn, you go Betamax.
That's why I'm the beta.
Damn, excellent catches.
So, but if Justine listens and there is an explanation for for Anastasia knowing that, and I missed it, please let me know, because I don't want to be falsely pointing stuff out.
Yeah, I'll definitely give her the heads up, and she may or may not listen. I don't know.
Yeah, but if that. Yeah, I don't know, because I was thinking, well, even in that's something that could be corrected in a second edition, but
yeah,
I don't even
that's
know.
True.
That would be tough to do. But anyway, so it was a good one.
Yeah, it was. I loved it, but then again, like I said, I love Justine's work, and I'm getting more and more interested in opera, so it all came together for me.
I hadn't read anything from her before, but. There were a couple of things when I was looking at the about the author and the back, and I was running short on time, and normally I read all of this stuff. But there were a couple of things that looked interesting to me. The Sistine Heresy,
Mm-hmm.
That looks pretty interesting. So
yep,
yeah, I don't know.
I've got them all.
What else have you read?
What do you mean of Justine's?
Well, yeah. No,
everything. Everything. I don't think there's a book out there that she's written that I haven't read, for fiction anyway. I mean, she's the woman has done a lot in her life, and she used to be a professor at Stanford, which I thought was pretty cool. Talk about intimidating. But yeah, I've gotten all of her books, and I really, really enjoy them. And they're all very intense. They're all very historical in nature, and they're all very intense.
I enjoy that. I do, and I think it was the opera thing that got me off stride with this one. So you think about it. You know what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You don't have to tell me now. Tell me later. Give me another one of her titles that I should pick up.
Okay. Well, there's a few of them I think that lead, like they're almost like a series, if I remember right. So I'll have to look back at them and figure out which one. Because if they're a series, you obviously need to read the first one in the series for it to make a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right.
But
well,
cool.
You can get back to me on that one.
I will get back to you on that.
Excellent.
That was a little shorter than I thought, talking about those two books.
Well, I think it's hard to summarize. I think they were both hard to summarize because there's so much that unfolds that it's difficult to talk about it in any kind of detail without giving so much away.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Life's Little Edge, very good story. For me, it was difficult to get away to get past the I lost my girlfriend in a poker game. That was tough for me to get past, but once you do, or once I did, the rest of the story really did, just bring me in. And it's not, neither one of these, usually there's a good deal of humor in what we're reading, and both of these stories were a bit more intense, for sure.
Yeah.
Justine's, especially, I'm telling you, man, the end just kind of, or not the total end, but the climax of that opera was just like, what the hell? And I still, I can't say that, and that's the problem that we're running into.
I know it, right? Because you want to really talk about it, and you can't.
Yeah, you can't. But really, listeners, I would recommend both of these absolutely. Absolutely, very good.
Mm-hmm. So, Rev, what is up for our next show?
Next show, we are going to focus on an author that I think a lot of people have not heard of, and that is Mary Shannon.
Ooh.
Mary Shannon has 2 books out. One is a pirate book, so we can kind of consider this part of our pirate thing, called Branded Anne. And then she has one that's more of the fantasy kind of genre, called Sword of the Guardian. Mm-hmm. Both books really good. I read them a long time ago. She's got a great style that I really enjoyed. Yeah,
you, me both. So it'll be a love fest for Mary Shannon in the next podcast, because I tell you, I read both of those books like you a long time ago, and I remember that I really loved them both.
Mm-hmm. And I hadn't, we don't want to talk too much about it,
because
nope. Then we won't have anything to talk about next time.
Exactly.
But Andy has come up with a great drink for next episode.
Woohoo! Leave it to me. I'll find the cocktails. I'm burning out brain cells as we speak. We're going to have a hot buttered rum, which, wow, it is actually a winter drink. Go figure. And it's a little holiday-ish, so it'll be nice.
And rum to go along with the pirate thing.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yep.
Exactly.
I will dig up the recipe, and I'll send it to you. Or actually, I'll just put it on our forum, listeners. So you can, you'll know what we're going to be reviewing, and you can actually get the ingredients necessary to make yourself a fabulous hot buttered rum.
Excellent. On the forum, we do have a topic just for cocktails. So if you have some cocktails that you'd like to share with us and think that we would enjoy, you can go over to the forum and register and post it there. And if you have any ideas for the show, you can let us know there. Also, let us know at the message board or the forum, whatever you want to call it. Also, so let us know what you think.
Yeah. We did get. Sorry. Go ahead.
Huh?
We did get one of our listeners ask us to do a Missy Good salute, if you will. So we'll probably have one of those up at some future point.
Yeah, sometime next year. I'm sure that we'll be able to do that. Next episode, Andy pointed out to me earlier, is the last episode of the year. Mm-hmm.
Yep, the 18th. And it'll be a week before Christmas, so we'll have a little special Christmas ideas for you folks that wait until, to the last minute to buy something. Yeah, I don't wait till the last minute. But, there are a lot of people that do. So hopefully, we'll help you figure it all out.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And if you have some items that you sell, or you run a store or something like that, let us know. We can maybe hawk your wares.
Yep, and put them on the forum.
You bet, absolutely.
Yep.
All right then. Well, this was a good show.
It was very enjoyable. It wasn't nearly as funny as some of our other ones.
No, but the stories that we talked about really didn't allow for that.
No, not really. Although there were some humorous moments, though, in Life's Little Edge. But, we decided to talk about 2 really intense stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next episode, those are more serious also. Both of them are more serious.
They are, yeah.
So we'll just have to get blasted.
I guess so. Maybe I'll see if I can find some really old, crappy, jokes to tell or something. I don't know.
So they could tell, here's one. Ready?
Yep.
Ready? What's a pirate's favorite letter?
Arr.
Arr.
I need more alcohol. I knew that one too fast.
Excellent. Or we could have to do the entire show talking like a pirate.
Well, at least while we're talking about Brandon Ann. Oh, no.
Yeah, all right then.
That is the end of our show. We hope you enjoyed it, and I just cannot believe that we have wrapped up episode 7.
I know it. When I had contacted Winter Pennington to see if she wanted to come on, I had told her that we were going to be talking about her stuff on episode 5, and it was actually episode 6, and I cannot... It's amazing to me that we've been doing it this long already.
Yeah, because you figure every 2 weeks we're doing one, and then I think we had like a 3.5 week gap with one of them. So we've done this for a while.
I'm enjoying it more and more with everyone.
Yeah, me too. It's a lot of fun.
And I think the alcohol helps.
Yeah, yeah, it relaxes your inhibitions, and normally it makes us a little bit more fun. But we gotta, after this Mary Shannon, we might have to start thinking about something a little more lighthearted, so we can really tear into it.
Yeah, I agree. After Mary Shannon, let's take some suggestions for some good comedies.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Excellent, excellent. Mm-hmm. Or at least something that's got a lot of hot sex.
You know what story came to mind, don't you?
No, which one?
Knights of Silk and Sapphire. Hello.
I don't know if I'd survive reading that one again.
Man, that was hot, off the chain hot. Wow. Let's do. Yes. Okay, let's do that one. And then I wanted to mention, because we talked about it on the last show, that I did read 7 Days in Pompeii. And I really liked it. It was good, wasn't it?
It was good. It was, I wrote a review about it. It was good. There was some bizarre humor in the middle that,
it was.
It goes from this really, really serious story in the beginning. Gabrielle's dead and Zena's alone and she's missing her, and then they get into whatever issues that they had been having, and then there is like this slapstick comedy going on.
Yeah, with the 2 little kids. It started out with the one little kid, the little vagabond that was
Alessandro.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
And then his sister and Zena kicking everybody's ass at the games, and Sappho is in it, and the drag queens, and my new favorite character, Labia Majora.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard you had that on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Pixie talked me out of that one. I didn't want to get kicked out.
Oh, you got talked out of it?
Huh?
You got talked out of it?
Oh yeah, I didn't do it. They would kick me out for that. But I would love to have that. If I can figure out a way to do it in a way that's almost covert, where I could get away with it for a while, I might do it.
Well, what about that character that Colette came up with? Urethra DeJoyner, or whatever the hell it is. That was pretty good. Come on. Pee hole lunch.
Gross. Okay. and then the end went back to being very, very serious again.
Yeah.
But the scene that you told me about, it was very good.
It was.
I didn't expect a double header.
A double header. That was a really, really good way to describe it. Oh no.
Yeah, so thanks for letting me know about that one. I did enjoy it, and the reason why I was so late in finishing Mephisto Aria is because 7 Days in Pompeii was a lot longer than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was like epic.
So, I know it, and I actually had to do a lot of work this week, so there wasn't really any time for covert reading. I hate when I have to work at work. It really pisses me off.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get away with reading except at lunch.
Yeah, I did that, but I was even working through lunches. Damn bastards. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for that. It was very good. I've also downloaded a bunch of her other stuff. So, okay, so we'll do Mary Shannon, Brandon Ann, and Sword of the Guardian, and then the next time, I'm going to write this down. The next time, what's the date on the next one? So we're looking at the 18th.
Yeah, that would be the Mary Shannon show on the 18th, and then the next one would be, the 1st?
No, you're going to be too hungover. I'll be fine. But
What? I won't be too
hungover.
No, I won't be. Trust me. I don't do that partying on New Year's Eve anymore.
All right, so then on the 1st, which that'll be kind of nice, do our first show on the first day of the year.
Yep.
So the 1st, we will do Knights of Silk and Sapphire, which means I'll be finishing it on New Year's Eve, which means I should have a good New Year's Eve.
A little bit of loving going on in your house.
You know it. Okay, and then why don't we do Dark Side of the Moon?
Oh, wow. That's a really intense story. We could.
Yeah, let's do it, because that talks about some different issues.
Yeah.
That's got some different topics going on there.
S&M, BDSM, yeah. That was, I really liked. I mean, they're two different authors, but yeah.
And that one deals with the S&M, and it also deals with transvestitism.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm writing it down, and once it's written down.
Oh yeah, I know. It's like stone. It's in stone. It's like what was that? 10 Commandments. Yul Brynner would make. He would make the law, and they would say, "So it is written, so it will be done," or "So shall be done,"
that's right,
or something.
So shall it be. I like the commandments in History of the World Part 1 better.
Oh yeah, those are good. Mel
Moses
Brooks
comes down from the mountain, and he has, I have these 15. Crash. Oops.
10.
These 10.
10 commandments. And I like the song they do for the Inquisition. That's pretty fucking hilarious. The Inquisition.
We were talking about that this morning. TJ said something about, did you shit today? Did you shit tomorrow? Or do you plan to shit tomorrow? You're doing a spoof on the B. Arthur portion of that, where Mel Brooks is trying to get his unemployment insurance, and he says, B. Arthur asks him, and what is it that you do? I'm a stand-up philosopher. Oh, a bullshit artist.
Mm-hmm. That's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
It's a fantastic movie. I think we may go put that in tonight.
Oh, you have it? I don't even have it. I wonder if it's on Instant View Netflix.
I don't know. I got it years ago on DVD, and we were talking about watching that and maybe watching Airplane in honor of Leslie Nielson's passing.
Mm-hmm. Leslie Nielson, he was an amazing actor with a really good range. Did you ever see what the hell? There was a movie that had different stories based on, I think, Stephen King's work. Cat's Eye, I think it was.
He was in Creepshow, wasn't he?
Creepshow. Is it Creepshow? It was Creepshow. And he was
Creepshow with Ted Danson.
Yeah. And then he wound up taking out the wife and her lover. And then, of course, they came back from the great beyond to get his ass.
He buried them up to their necks in the sand and put cameras up and waited till the surf came in.
Yeah. He did a good job with that.
I forgot all about that.
Yep.
All right, are we done?
Well, we got to say good night.
Okay.
All right, thank you for the great show. I really enjoyed it. Thanks, Rev.
Hey, thank you. Good choices.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to doing the next show in 2 weeks.
Yay. Yay, Rom.
All right, ciao for now.
Adios.